first question will go to Daniel Sperry with the Kansas City Star. Daniel, your line is open.
Hey, everybody. Sorry.
Peter.
Hey, hold on one second. Sorry for making you guys wait. We had a lightning delay, so that's why I'm late.
It's all right. Coach, last time you guys played Portland, things didn't go so well, but this has always been a really, really tight matchup between these two teams for the most part. What makes this such a high intensity and a difficult matchup for both sides?
I would say that normally we're two very competitive teams in the league, and I just think it's a good matchup because the two teams always come to compete. I mean, that's pretty simple.
Our next question will go to Todd Palmer with KSHB 41. Todd, your line is open.
Hey, Peter. I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things you can't control, and trying to move up the table or get yourselves back in playoff position, things like that. So, what do you hope to get out of these last 8 games? Regardless, I mean, obviously, you want to win the games, right? But regardless of whether it results in a playoff, what are you hoping to see from the team, or what are you hoping to get out of this last few months?
Probably what I've said quite a few times. It's been very few times over the course of the season that I've criticized the team around effort. What has happened is one game we score and we're on in that regard, but we give up really easy soft goals, and then the next game we defend really well and we keep it really tight, but we have a million chances and we wind up not getting the result that we should. And then another game, it's set pieces, and so I think it's really just putting all those phases together. And having a strong concentration for 2 45-minute halves in all those phases of the game, and then I think you give yourself a chance to get the result. But we have to put full packages together regularly. We've done it at different games this year, but we have to do that regularly, and we have to come and play for 90 minutes.
And with Eric and Willie, I mean, it seems like those summer transfer window acquisitions have kind of injected some energy and enthusiasm. Am I overstating that? And do you see a role for them moving forward, in future years? Have they shown you enough that you want to keep them around a little bit longer?
Well, we have them both under a long-term contract, and they've actually done very well. And I don't think it's any surprise because they're both really playing the number 9 and number 10 role, which both Polito and Gotti play, pretty similarly. And so it all of a sudden has a big impact and a big change. We have more creativity going forward, especially out of the midfield. We've had guys that are more defensive oriented. That's not their fault. That's just they've also been put on the team for that perspective. So they've had a huge impact, and I only see them getting better because, like even today, I mean, we were going through a lot of things that we do in preseason, and really trying to hammer those concepts home, and they're more for those guys than they are for the rest of the team. Don't get me wrong. Reminders are important. All that stuff is very important, but it's more of, getting those guys continuously acclimated and adapted to the concepts that we have. And, we have to do that as we go through the rest of the season. But as I said, I think for the group, it's really the consistency, all the phases of the game.
Our next question will go to Thad Bell with SB Nation. Thad, your line is open.
Good morning, Peter. You mentioned how Willie and Tommy both play roles that Polito and Gotti would play. I know it's way too far in the future now, but looking towards next year a little bit, is that going to be a good problem for you to have, assuming that both those players come back, to the standard that they were before, or is there some shifting around in different spots you can put them and make them as effective?
First of all, I'm not talking about next year. I think the more better players you have within your roster, the more competitive as a team you can be. And so those two guys add real quality to our team, which is fantastic.
Our next question will go to Sporting Kansas City sideline reporter Allie Trost-Martin. Allie, your line is open.
Hey, Coach, we'll talk with Roger Espinoza coming up next. With the addition of Eric, Tommy, and having a little bit more depth in the midfield, how has that allowed you to maybe adjust the way in which you utilize Roger and look to utilize him for the rest of the season?
Well, as you know, normally speaking, we play with 2 attacking midfielders, but really one's more an 8 and one's more a 10, which means one's more attacking, one's a little bit more defensive. That's more what Roger plays. That's more what Felipe play. Again, we didn't have that attacking guy in there. That's really more Gotti. And so it gives us another body in the midfield to be able to rotate guys around and do some things that we have to do based on other players not being available. So it gives us more adaptability, if you will, with guys that are familiar with at least that part of the field. But again, when you have Tommy in there who's more attack-minded, it takes pressure off the other players within that area of the field as well. And so it for sure helps. Yeah.
Our next question goes to Daniel Sperry. Daniel, your line's back open.
Hey, Peter, I know we were just talking about Roger a little bit. Just how happy with his production have you been? It seems like the last couple of games, both he and Graham, kind of the veterans, have been turning back the clock a little bit with some of their performances.
Yeah, I know it's really easy for everybody always to focus on age and all those things, but when those guys still give the kind of performances that they do, it's not what you should look to or focus on. They're both very good professionals. They always have been. That's why they have been playing for as long as they have and continue to do it at a very high level and know the quality that they have. And so that's the only thing that I ever look at. And then also their impact in the team, and it's been very good. It's been very, very good as a group.
Peter, thank you for the time today.
Thank you.